Hi guys, welcome to another video. What are we looking at today? We are looking at the best resources available for property investors and people that want to learn about property that are out there and available for free, some paid for, on the internet. So here we go. When looking at property, it can be tricky to know what sources to trust or where to get your information and where to start learning your knowledge from. How can you keep up to date with the latest market trends, the latest market research and the latest market news? Where is the best information? How do you know what's relevant? And how do you know where to start? These are all questions that we face when we're starting or even during our property journey. Therefore, what am I going to do? In this video, I'm just going to show you the resources that we use to keep up to date, the resources we've used to educate ourselves and the resources we use to assess property deals, the viability of deals, the quality of deals, and some little tools, cheats, if you will, to help us with that. I'm also going to show you how best to educate yourself, the resources you can use to do that, and then the resources you can use to get down into the nitty-gritty of specific deals. Coming up then, we've got 5 sections, yes, 5, that we're going to look at. I'm going to give a brief overview on each section, then I'm going to give you my tools for each section that I have used, that we've used, that other people in the company and we as APW as a whole have used. So what does it entail? What are those 5 things? Number 1 is educating yourself and getting started. What resources do you need there? Number 2 is keeping up to date with market research. What's available to do that? Number 3 is keeping up to date with the latest news. And number 4 is assessing the quality of any potential property deal, how to do your research around that. And then finally, number 5 is how to get started and how to put that into practice. So without further ado, let's jump in. Number 1 then, educating yourself. This is tricky because there's a lot of stuff out there and it's difficult to know where or how to start. The key, we feel, is to surround yourself with information. You know, order some books, subscribe to some YouTube channels. This one, for example. There are obviously others out there. Subscribe to some YouTube channels, do some reading, start familiarizing yourself with the subject, the terms, the topics, so it's not so alien. You know, you'll soon find that it's not as complicated as, as it seems when you're an outsider looking in. Most people will be telling you the same simple things, so start getting your head around that. Number 2, keeping up to date with market research. Once you understand the market, once you understand property and how it works, it's important to understand how the market works so then you can make informed decisions within that. So there's heaps and heaps of property companies and institutions that gather and sift through loads of property information and research so that you don't have to. These guys will give you updates on property prices, average rents, overall trends, general market growth and sentiment, buyer confidence, because that's an important thing in property. This is what you need to understand. You need to understand this to understand what's going on in the market on a macroeconomic sense. So this will help you make informed decisions. Number 3, we're coming down the funnel. We've got our broad property knowledge, we've got our market research and wider macroeconomics, and then coming down to latest news, what's going on in the market. There's always interesting news around property, whether it's positive or negative. Usually it's one of those poles, boom or bust, because when it's ticking along nicely in the middle and growing steadily, that doesn't really sell stories. So generally when you read the news, it's one or the other, so bear that in mind. Surrounding yourself with reliable news sources will give you good information as to the state of the market and how it might be reacting to potential changes, tax laws, for example, changes in stamp duty holiday, all that sort of stuff. So that gives you, again, more of a sense and a feel of the market. Tools for assessing property. So you're coming down this funnel and now you're actually looking at specific properties. Well, how do you assess this and how do you know what's a good deal? What resources are out there to help you? Whether you're a professional or just starting out, there's tools and resources that can help with this, helping your decision making or simply helping you to understand how it all works. Now, there's tools as well that can help with keeping track of your properties if you're already an investor, resources, spreadsheets, and they're calling it prop tech, property technology, and or research to help guide your decisions on where and when to buy. Finally, putting it into action. We've got these steps, we know the tools and resources that are out there. How can we then put it into action and make a plan? The key here is to actually do something. Start by ordering a book, Start by following some channels, start by signing up to some newsletters, take action. As T.E. Lawrence once said, the dreamers of the day are dangerous people because they are the ones that go and act and implement on their dreams. So go and do something about it. Right, thanks for sticking with us through that far. Next, I'm going to give you my resources and tools that I use on a day-to-day basis for assessing property, for helping clients assess property, and for keeping up to date with news and all that sort of stuff. So if you've taken nothing else from this video, listen to this next section, write down this short list, and then go and follow and do these things. Okay, educating yourself, this first section. Go out and buy some books. Books are still a great source of education, whether you're doing that on Kindle, whether you're doing it paperback or hardback, or just going online and reading excerpts from books. Go and order a book about property, one with a title that suits you, and just start reading it. It doesn't necessarily have to have the best reviews or anything like that. Just go and do something and start reading about it. Start building your knowledge and understanding how it works. Okay, keeping up to date with market research and reports. This is really important, and this is something we try and do for our clients by collating all this research and sending it out. Who are the good institutions and companies to follow? Savills, Knight Frank, and Zoopla, for example. There are others. These are the ones we use. Release monthly house price reports, data, rent trends, all that sort of stuff. This is always at the end of the month, so make a note of checking these at the end of every month and sign up to their newsletters so that you get sent them automatically. My go-to, if I had to choose two, would be the Savills UK Residential Housing Market Update at the end of every month, and the Zoopla equivalent. They're both short, 4 or 5 pages, and give you all the key facts and data by region. Keeping up to date with the latest news, how do you do this? Telegraph Property, Telegraph UK paper is a good source. If you have Twitter or Instagram, you can follow them on there so you get the headlines. You don't need to pay for a subscription, you just get the headlines straight to you. Again, social media is a really powerful tool for news and resources. I set up a Twitter that's just for property, and I follow Savills, Knight Frank, Zoopla, Rightmove, CBRE, Telegraph, all these property companies on there, and I get headlines. And you can even then start following professional investors and people that do it as a hobby to see what they're talking about. Immerse yourself in the market. Rightmove, for example, send out a market update on a regular basis with relevant news. So here's a title I've got here. We'll get it up on your page for you. 10 coastal hotspots with biggest growth since 2019. This is a great insight from Rightmove, from the people that have all the data available out there. And this helps inform you about the market. It helps you understand why people are moving to the coast. What are the reasons behind it? So read it. It's a good article. It's free. Right, last but one, guys, tools for assessing property, looking at deals on a day-to-day basis. These are some of the tools we use and guide our clients to help use. A basic spreadsheet for keeping track of the quality of deals. This is a spreadsheet you can just plug a house price into, you can plug a yield into, and it's already got built-in stamp duty, various taxes, legal fees, all the costs there. So you can plug it in and you can look at the quality of a deal. You can look at worst case yield, best case yield, in the middle, most likely, and what that'll do for you. You can make one of these yourself, it's very straightforward, or ask us and we can share ours with you. So a simple spreadsheet. A mortgage calculator. There's loads and loads out there. I use Money Saving Expert because you can change interest and repayment, you can change the terms, you can put how much the mortgage is costing, the length of the mortgage, all this sort of stuff. There's a link below. Ask us if you want it. Money Saving Expert for calculating mortgages. For comparing properties and doing research on areas, you can't beat Rightmove or Zoopla. Get on there, see what the street's doing, see what comparables are doing, see what things are sold for, check trends. It's such a powerful tool all in one place. And then lastly, another tool we use is, if you don't understand the maths on it, you can use Knight Frank stamp duty calculator to calculate the stamp duty you're paying as an overseas investor. You're an investor, so it's 3%, and you're overseas, so it's another 2%. So it's usually 5% at least as a base. Use this tool to check it and confirm it for you. Okay, here we go. The moment you've all been waiting for, the definitive list of, if you take nothing else away, these are the things you should go and do. Buy a book on property, any book that sounds half decent and has a couple of reviews. Start reading it and familiarising yourself with it. Sign up to lists and research houses. I would suggest Rightmove, Zoopla and the Telegraph. Follow them on social media and follow others. and then start checking in, check these emails daily, check these social media feeds daily, and start building up a picture and an image of what's going on in the market. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week for another video. Oh, and before I forget, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast channel. And if you want extra bonus content, extra podcasts with Q&A sessions with investors, with clients, then go over to our Patreon page and sign up to the APW Property Partners community there. Thanks and bye.
It's time to take your property journey to the next level. APW Property brings you an opportunity to grow your existing knowledge and tap into our network with a research-led approach to UK property. Whether you are a novice or an expert, our team will be here to support your property journey 7 days a week with our new live chat support network. Now making property decisions is even easier with the team at APW, who act as your partner in property, on hand to answer your questions anytime. Ever feel overwhelmed by all the information out there? Now you can cut through it with our weekly research brief and direct access to an APW property professional. An opportunity to be part of a network and community built upon over 30 years in the industry. Here's what you can get as a property partner member. Weekly research brief, collating and digesting all the information out there so you don't have to. 24/7 access to an APW property professional and our wider network. Exclusive off-market property opportunities. Bonus podcasts answering your questions and access to exclusive discussion with UK industry professionals. Getting started is as easy as click on the link below, choose your tier on Patreon, set up your account. Once your payment is complete, APW is notified and a welcome pack is delivered to your email address. Subscribe to Property Partners today to join a like-minded community of investors.